Hello, I just wanted to do a quick video to test out my new equipment and lighting. I now have a dedicated space to shoot and edit my videos. This gray background used to be a projection screen, and I will eventually hang a green screen over it so I can put something of interest up behind me. Maybe I'll put myself in some wacky locations while I prattle on about releases. Also, please excuse the hair. I shot 3D this morning, then came home, mowed my lawn, and showered, so I'm waiting for it to dry. I'm really off topic now, so I'm going to get to the point. So the actual reason for this video is to give my impressions of actually using the Abyss extension Flex. This will be a quicker video and will contain more subjective elements than my Ad Nauseam series, so take from it what you will. So I tried it out for the first time 2 Fridays ago at a 20-yard indoor range, and then I shot a whole 30-plus target 3D course with it today, using it to loose arrows up to 75 yards. I tend to find the second time I use a release to be a better indicator of how I'm actually going to do with it. Sometimes you use one for the first time and everything goes well, and then you take it out for the second time and you have to wonder what the hell happened between now and then. Thankfully, this was not one of those instances. I was finding myself liking it in thumb button mode and absolutely hating it in tension mode, which was not surprising at all. Resistance activated releases give me target panic worse than any other type, and I just end up disengaging the safety and then yanking on it like I'm trying to start a lawnmower. So anyone who says a specific type of release will cure target panic is selling you a bill of goods. No one piece of equipment can fix target panic. It is up here. So I'm going to mostly focus on thumb mode since that's how I'm going to be using it, but I'll touch on tension mode briefly anyway. So in tension mode, the release works just like every other resistance activated release, but since you have to press and hold the thumb barrel down while executing the shot, I wasn't really able to fully relax my hand like I would with a hinge or resistance activated release where you hold the safety on the draw and then let go at full draw. So that's something you'll have to get used to if you plan on using it as a resistance release. I won't be using it that way, so I'm just going to move on. One separate note, something I forgot to write down in the script that I'm reading from right now. I mentioned that this hook, because it's able to rotate, you're probably going to have to move it around a little bit in order to make sure that you get to the right hook. I had to do that every shot. I had to make sure that this hook was exposed and kind of flick it with my finger to make sure that it was in the right position. So in thumb mode, the feel is probably the most unique of all the thumb releases I own, in that there is no click, no wall, and no additional tension before the hook releases. I originally likened it to a single sear thumb like the Cobra Harvester, where the trigger is directly connected to the hook and there is an amount of travel before the linkage slides off and allows the hook to release. With those, there's resistance, trigger, creep, and eventually the shot breaks, as opposed to a double sear like this Scott Apex where there's just a wall and a snap. But that's not what this release does. So I think I did it a disservice in describing it that way. It's just a smooth, even press from start to finish with no additional tension or break or resistance. Like I said in my long video, with the resistance tension set to 0, the hook releases before the trigger actually bottoms out. So outside of slamming it down, I wasn't able to predict exactly when it was going to go off, though I had an idea of roughly when the hook was going to release. So if you're looking for a predictable yet not super way to pinpoint when it's going to go off for purposes of target panic, then this might be an option for you. I tried a few different methods of shot execution with it. I tried wrapping my thumb around the thumb barrel and then just pulling through the shot. I tried to shoot it like a hinge where I wrapped my thumb and relaxed my hand. Lastly, I just preloaded my back muscles and slowly squeezed the trigger like I was shooting a rifle or a handgun. As long as I did each method consistently, I was getting pretty tight groups and it was going where I was pointing. The point of impact was a little different each time, so I'd have to commit to one method if I was going to commit to this release, which is just like any other release. So for those who commit the mortal sin of not using back tension and just squeezing the trigger, this could actually be a good option if you're looking for the benefits of a hinge, i.e. you don't want to know exactly when the hook is going to let go, but the operation of a thumb release. So in terms of comfort on the draw, it's not the most comfortable release that I own. My Stan Onyx and B3 Versa feel nicer to draw, but the Abyss Extension Flex is not uncomfortable. I ended up adjusting the finger sweep to align the index and middle finger beds more closely, with the middle finger fully straight, meaning up this way, and the hook angled this way. It puts your middle finger up higher than the index, and it feels like there's more pressure on it on the draw as opposed to being evenly distributed between your index, middle, and ring if you decide to employ your ring finger. Couple that with the hook and the neck being angled to one side increases its inclination to want to straighten itself back out against the force being applied to it. So if you have this swept to try to get the hook away from your face and it's angled over this way, when you pull against it, it's going to want to straighten itself out. So the most comfortable setting for me ended up being the middle finger attachment being fully swept back and the neck and the hook as close to 90 degrees as it is capable of being set. Another note on fit, I did end up using the full 3-axis thumb barrel assembly that TRU offers. It puts the thumb barrel in a spot where I wanted it more so than just having the thumb barrel piece bolted to the trigger stem. So it would be nice if they sent the entire assembly so people have the option of using it or not using it. Also, maybe separate note on that, maybe they could try to anodize this the same color as everything else, being black. The 3-axis thumb barrel assembly is this anodized gray finish, and nothing else TRU makes is actually that color. So just a random nitpick there. So I think that covers everything. This release is a neat piece of kit. Is it worth the price? I'll have to leave that up to you to decide. In the meantime, take care, stay safe, and happy hunting. Hey, look at that. It looks like I actually have a complexion.